peace, wholeness, and divine blessings, everyone. I'm Moon Goddess Ambrosia, the Fifth Force Oracle, and once again, I'm here to share the Cosmic Oracle reading of evolution for us on this plasma. And so I definitely just give thanks, as always, to M.I.M.E.C, Synchronistic Hueman, and Moon Goddess and the Healing Arts. Shout out to all of us that are really allowing ourselves to take our evolution serious and um, take upon the opportunity to use this cosmology to facilitate and assist us in our own evolution, in our growth, and also when it comes to serving our divine mission together. And so I'm thankful as always to just be here, able to share space with all of us and contribute to this mission. And so, with that, let's go ahead and start getting into this oracle reading for us on this plasma. And by talking about what it means to operate or be in the mindset of a synchronaut. And when I speak of this, it's basically saying that we are time travelers of synchronicities. And so, in order for us to really tap into this, we have this mindset of a synchronaut, of realizing that we are a living expression of divine synergy in motion. And we are here to remember our divine purpose, consciously create and fulfill our purpose by fulfilling our soul's mission. Okay, so what I would love for us to focus on within this mindset is remembering what our divine purpose is. So as we continue to move forward in this oracle reading, just stay mindful that we want to recall and bring back the memories and really lock in on being on purpose. And shout out to High Priestess for that one. That was one of the things that that I heard her say that had me locked in. And so much love and gratitude. Yes, we want to be on our divine purpose on purpose. Okay, so one way we can start getting into this process is to affirm our own galactic signature. And so I invite you all to say your personal galactic signature with me. Allow yourself to really feel the truth of each word resonating within your body, your mind, and your heart. Okay, so we're going to say, as a living expression of, you're going to say your kin number, its name, and then also go into your galactic signature. And if you are new to the space, you don't know any of that information, definitely feel free to reach out to myself or anyone else that may be here in the space, so that we make sure that we're able to provide you with that information or point you in the direction to receive that. Okay. All right. So let's go ahead and put all of our energies together so we can get synergized and locked in. And let's state our affirmation. All right, let's go. As a living expression of Kin 181, the red crystal dragon, I dedicate in order to nurture, universalizing being. I seal the input of birth with the crystal tone of cooperation. I am guided by the power of space. Ashe, Ashe, and Ashe, y'all. All right, y'all. So, yeah, just take a moment and think about what came through for you. What did you feel when you were saying your affirmation? How does it connect or bring clarity to what your divine purpose is? think about that for a moment. All right. So make sure you take notes as we continue to move through the session. And so one thing that you can stay mindful of is that the Destiny Kin Oracle, from which I am providing this oracle reading from, is a meditative tool, or like a cosmic compass, that includes a template, or the basic template for all 20 archetypes. That's from the red dragon all the way down to the yellow sun. And it's a fifth dimensional template to help us sustain our cosmic synergy as multidimensional beings. And this is in reference to the fact that we have a soul, we have a spirit, we have a physical body, we have a mental body, and we also have an emotional body. So just those 5 aspects alone is what the Destiny Oracle helps us to lock in on. Of course, we are more than just 5D beings. However, that is the basics of us here in this plane, in this physical plane. And so, again, we can also use this to align ourselves with the natural cycles of the collective journey. And that's one of the things that we do focus on when we are here on Aligning with the Cycles, is getting in flow, or being one of the waves in the ocean. Okay, so let's take a closer look as to where we are on this plasma, where excuse the arrow. We are actually, if you look in the red box, on the left, if you look in the red box, you will also see the glyph for the white wind. So look in the red box, and it's going to be in the top left corner. That is where the white wind sits, for us to be able to identify the template. So if we look here on the right, we can have a closer view as to what archetypes are a part of the Destiny Oracle. So on the right, well, I'll say in the center, that represents the soul. That is the main focus that we're tapping into. Over on the right is where the physical body kin sits. And for the white wind, we have the red earth. On the left, this is the mental body, where we have the yellow human. Down below, that is the emotional body, where we have the blue storm. And those 4 archetypes is what makes up the basic template. Now, again, if you look over on the left, you will see an empty box in that above position. And that is the spirit body. That is the spirit guide, that's guiding us in, holding the focus. That is also where we can connect with our higher self at. And so those are blank when you're looking at the oracle board, because it is dependent on the galactic tone for the particular archetype that we're connecting with. So if you look here on the right, you will see a little bar there, and that excuse me, and that represents the overtone tone. So that will give us the white dog that is actually sitting in that spirit guide position. So as I've mentioned, the 4 at the bottom, all of the white wind archetypes will have that. And the archetype that will sit in the spirit guide position, that will vary depending on the galactic tone. And so we're going to go into more detail with that when we get into the oracle reading. And so before we do so, just to, lock in on how the white overtone wind plays a role within the white mirror wave spell that we're in. So this whole wave spell, I look at them like missions. So reminding ourselves that, okay, we're a synchronized, okay, we're this living expression of the divine synergy in a body, right? Our body is our car. So what is our mission when we are in this vehicle, in our physical body? Well, the mission of this wave spell is to tap into the power of our endlessness. That means, we can reflect ourselves in so many different ways. It reminds me of how we could show up in different ways based on our character. And so the goal is to tap into reflecting the divine order of things, being loyal. Well, I'll say the divine order of things by being loyal, um, being in a loving space and being loyal to our hearts. And so, uh, however you feel called in your spirit, based on your purpose, is also going to connect you with the divine order of how to fully operate in that character. Okay, so with us being on the white overtone wind, this is helping us to lock in on those characteristics. And you'll see here once we go through the breakdown for it. So the white overtone wind, every part of the name holds significance. So with it, the color pattern being white, it also is related to the heptads. So just like how it says humility refines meditation, I actually like to say being unpretentious is what help us to refine meditation. So being able to be in an open mind, to not be so attached to, our own understanding of things, is saying like, okay, I understand this. However, I'm open to, new insights, learning more. And it's really like about letting go of the egoic attachments to what we say or think or do, So by us, allowing ourselves to be open, this refinement comes through us meditating on it, like being in that reflective space, doing introspection and things like that. And so when we pair this with the white wind, that helps us to understand how it shows up as the High Priestess. That's the archetype. And this is the power of spirit. The power of spirit that communicates through breath, through breathing. So as we continue to, as we focus on breathing today, allow that breathing to help us to go through, well, I'll say to help us to meditate on how we can refine the way we show up in our character. And then when we connect that with the overtone tone, this is the vibration. So the white wind is like the creative power. And then when that creative power gets into motion, start to do it in repetition, that creates the vibration. So the vibration we want to lock in on is empowering the radiance of our spirit and commanding ourselves to connect with through the breath. And so that is how the white overtone wind is encouraging us or supporting us in reflecting that divine order, being loyal to our hearts and our divine purpose. And so I have created the remix version of the affirmation, which states, I empower my endlessness in order to communicate what's in my heart by commanding my breath. And so I want to pause here for a moment to just touch on what insights came through for me when it came to this. That first line of I empower my endlessness. So this is like asking ourselves, how can I best empower myself? How can I best empower myself to reflect the divine order of my character or who I am, And the reason why we want to do that is in order to communicate what's in our hearts. So that is what makes this beautiful for us to be on this plasma. Is like, when we really lock in on reflecting our as above, so and our as below, that helps us to communicate and really express what's in our hearts. And the communication piece is not always like or only verbal. It could show up through our actions, through the way that we're thinking, that type of thing. So it's more so about the expression of how we are putting out our energy that's within us. And so it also goes into commanding our breath. So that's basically telling us, you know what, I'm going to step up and I'm going to take this moment to breathe in, to meditate, to reflect on my character and get these downloads, these insights, and allow myself to be connected to spirit, my higher self, that type of thing, by just through breath. And this is going to help us to get into that space of feeling empowered and also communicating from our hearts. And so then the next line says, I sealed my informed input of spirit. The insights that we receive or that comes through for us, that's that informed input. We're gaining that insight of what's in our spirit. And we do that with the overtone tone of radiance. So it's just like that radiance feeling is just like when you feel that that energy just light you up, like you glowing out here, right? And so what's guiding us in this process is the energy of the white dog, which is the power of heart. And so I found that to be really, really dope. And I do want to say, excuse that typo. It should not say ×2 right there. Okay, so just disregard that. But yes, we are being guided by the power of our hearts as we focus in on our spirits. Okay, so now let's go ahead and jump into the Destiny Oracle reading by, again, reminding ourselves of this overtone tone, which is to empower the radiance or empower our radiance to command. Okay, so again, it asks that question, how can I best empower myself? As you sit with that, staying mindful that we want to lock in on our divine purpose today. We want to remember what our divine purpose is. How can I best empower myself to remember that? Well, we can start by focusing on our breathing, staying in communion with our higher self, staying in communion with all aspects of ourselves, right? And so with that being our focus, we are going to look at the spirit guide that's guiding us in this process. So we have the white overtone dog that's saying, all right, as you breathe and lock into your higher self and stay connected within, we're communicating with our heart nature, to be able to recognize what we're actually loyal to. And when we are looking at what we're loyal to, we want to also make sure that the love is there, like it's coming in, and also we're putting it out. It's a whole process of looking at how we're processing what we're experiencing, or the energy, thoughts, and all of those things through our heart space. And that's what's going to help us to command ourselves to stay loyal. We just want to sit in that space and breathe and really be honest about, be honest in our hearts about what we are loyal to. Okay. So let's jump over to the physical body here on the right, where we have the red overtone earth. And this is in a position to support us internally and also externally. So what's beautiful and dope about this is that this red earth archetype is all about commanding synchronicities. So it's not just about what's going on the outside, right? It's us basically, with whatever synchronicities we recognize or experience on the outside, it all started from the inside. It all starts from the inside first. So this lets us know that we can evolve the synchronicities that we observe on the outside by going inside. So this archetype in the physical body is saying, okay, let me get into my physical space. Let me connect with my physical body. Let me tap within myself, my physical self. Let me go inside. Let me look at how can I evolve the way that I'm navigating or the energy, the essence in me is navigating inside of me. Before we navigate externally, we got to look at how we're navigating internally. And so when we do that, what that looks like is, okay, we have a thought or we have an experience, right? And then we start to go into our thoughts, about whatever this experience is, or what we want to experience, you know what I'm saying, or what we seek to experience. And when we look at that, it's like, we start to feel certain emotions with it. And then we start putting two and two together, and it starts shifting our character and things like that. So that's how the synchronicities start to show up on the outside. So I'll say, as you are communicating with your spirit and letting your heart guide you, continue to work on that from an internal space. And that's what's going to support you in commanding the synchronicities externally around you in your experience. Okay, so that is what the red overtone earth is guiding us or supporting us in doing with our focus. And I want to jump down to the emotional body now, because this is where the gas kicked in. This is the gas in our car that's motivating us to, move and take action and things. And so we have the blue solar storm that sits here. What's dope is this is also a part of the core of the Zokin. And actually, this is Kin 139, so excuse that typo as well. This is Kin 139. And what this does is, what the blue storm is doing is helping us or encouraging us to pulse in that energy, or pulse the energy. So that's allowing the energy to really move through our life force or in our body. We start to really feel what we're loyal to. We feel it we actually feel it. And so that is us catalyzing and self-generating that energy within us to move forward and staying connected to our heart and expressing what's in our heart. We got to be honest about what we're feeling and sensing, and you tap into the rare earth energy to evolve the way that we navigate in that essence. And so essentially, what that brings us to next is the mental body, where we have the yellow overtone human. And this is where we get into the power of our free will, where we get to influence not only our own selves, but we also get to influence what's going on around us. And a lot of these influences come from the wisdom that we have. And so the overtone human is telling us to command the wisdom, not just, saying we got the wisdom and not really doing anything with it. We want to tap into the wisdom that we embody and that we seek to lock in on by recognizing we actually have the free will to do so. And so when we breathe again, remembering to come back to focusing on our breathing, staying connected to our higher self and in our hearts, mentally. And I'll say this too. I forgot to mention that this is we're talking about the mental body now. So mentally, we want to command this wisdom by by breathing. So as we're, sitting in that breathing space, staying connected to our higher self, we're commanding the wisdom to come in to help influence the way that we're operating in our character. We're commanding the wisdom that we gain from the insights of knowing what our divine purpose is, knowing what we're loyal to. Okay, so when we put all of this together, it helps to bring out a certain frequency. And so one thing I do want to mention is that even though this is the order that I like to share it from, you could tap in it from any aspect of this. You can tap in from any of these 5 bodies. You know what I'm saying? Or I'll say any of the 4 bodies. Excuse me, no, 5, my bad. You can tap in from any of the 5 bodies to really lock in on this. Just remember what each particular aspect focuses on. So you could come in from mental, emotional, physical, soul, spirit level. Okay. So essentially, when we bring all of this together, what this is doing is helping us to bond with our life. And when we really sit down and be honest and bond with it, like the bonding, think of bonding just like when you're bonding with another person. Do the same thing when it comes to bonding with your life, bonding with yourself. And this is what's going to bring out that enlightenment that's going to activate within you to know the divine order of how to operate, how to endure being loyal to your heart space. Okay, so essentially, this is the oracle reading for us on this plasma. And I do want to share something real quick before I close out. I had a moment the other plasma about when we were on the yellow electric sun. And I'm mentioning this because Kin 122, when you add up all the kin numbers of the destiny kin of the oracle, it adds up to the yellow electric sun. And so when it's so interesting because the other plasma, um, I had this moment of really recognizing like how important it is to bond with your life. It's like just being straight up and real, like about where you are in this moment. Like, instead of always looking at the next best thing, like, all right, what's to come next, or what I'm about to do next, or being stuck in the past of, oh, this happened and da 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 da. You know what I'm saying? Bonding with where you are right now is what's going to unlock the insights for you to see what things you can do now to go to take yourself to the next level, to let go of things from the past and things like that. And so I just thought that was a really profound moment, and I definitely want to share that with you all because if you take that time out to breathe, like, it's, oh my gosh, it's so much. Breathing is so powerful is all I can say. May that this destiny oracle helps you to practice that even more, or maybe start to practice it. And yeah, that's what I'll say so I don't keep rambling here. But I definitely love and appreciate all of you and the opportunity to share the cosmic oracle reading of evolution for us. um, and so with that, I love you all, and may that you enjoy your plasma, enjoy your creation in every single moment of now. Because remember, in every moment, we are creating what we experience. And so, in La Cash, I like Ken. I love y'all. Talk to you later. Peace.